Donald Trump is getting a very rude awakening right now with his handling of the Epstein files. Not only are many in the MAGA base furious with him refusing to release the files, but now the MAGA podcast bros, the Joe Rogans of the world, the Andrew Schultzes of the world, who's on your screen right now, have firmly turned on him. They are furious over his lies surrounding Epstein. Just a couple of days ago, we spoke on this channel about Joe Rogan and his criticisms of Donald Trump with this whole situation. But now, Andrew Schultz on the Flagrant podcast and his whole crew have really ramped up their criticisms of Donald Trump and his handling of the Epstein files. So I want to play this clip for you of him and his team just going in on Donald Trump. Before I do that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It goes an incredibly long way. Drop a like, comment some American flags and some hearts. But now let's dive into this clip without further ado. Have a look.
Trump is like, hey, the base thinks vaccines are fucked up. RFK, get in there.
January
Research
6th,
the vaccine.
they want him out.
They
we'll
want
get
him out. We're putting him out. And this, he is rebuking the base. Like, almost like spitting in their face. Like, they're asking for it. He campaigned on it. He puts Bongino and Cash in there, which might be the stupidest thing in the history of the world. Like, why would you put the two guys that have nonstop pounded the pavement talking about how we're going to expose this Epstein thing, and the second they get in there, like, you better shut the fuck up.
Yeah, to shut him up.
Go on Rogan, lie. Like, it is a very peculiar thing. It worked in that I think it moved any of the smoke off of Trump, because at least for me, I was like, there's no way that he's involved if he's putting Bongino and Cash in who have campaigned on exposing it. Like, why would you hire those guys or appoint those guys, right? So I'm like, he can't be. But the fact that he will not touch this, and then this last week, him doing the bullshit distractions,
Bro.
dropping the MLK file. Like, who asked for the MLK file?
Yeah.
And Andrew Schultz is going to continue with this point, which is exactly right. But think about all of the different distractions that Donald Trump has employed in recent weeks to get people to stop talking about Epstein, whether it be Obama's guilty, Hillary Clinton's guilty, Bill Clinton is guilty, Coca-Cola is now using different sugar, even though they're not. He announced new trade deals, even though they weren't finalized and still have not been finalized, among many other different distractions that Donald Trump is coming up with. The main one recently that they've really settled on is the Obama treason allegation, which is just completely made up. They really just pulled it out of thin air to get people to start talking about that, the MAGA base riled up, as opposed to his connections to Epstein. If Donald Trump had nothing to worry about with his connections to Epstein, he would, number one, release the files, and number two, encourage dialogue around it. If you did nothing wrong, you have no strange connection to Epstein whatsoever, you're 100% transparent, just let people talk. There's nothing on you, right? Donald Trump has taken the opposite approach. He's trying to silence people. He's trying to scare people into being quiet. And he's also just saying, like, shaking his keys in front of a toddler saying, hey, look at these shiny keys, to make sure that the toddler doesn't recognize that they just took away the toy and they're the thing that they were focused on. But it's just not working. And the American people, even the MAGA podcast bros, are not falling for it. So let's just continue with this clip of Andrew Schultz here.
Who asked for the MLK file?
Yeah.
Who asked for MLK?
You know what's funny is I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist, and I was initially like, the Epstein thing for me was just the last straw in terms of you not getting things done. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure there's some smoke, they'll release it. But the more they're doing to hide it, the more I'm like, oh, they're hiding something crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily, I was like, there's probably something.
The second he started talking about Obama, I was like, oh, he's guilty.
Yeah.
Also, I'm like, why are you talking about Obama and treason? You got a guy who has sex with teenagers that you are protecting.
Also, some of the lies are other
so
pedophiles.
Yeah.
Trump is protecting other pedophiles.
Facts.
Like, that's what.
Yeah, I mean, I actually agree with a lot of the points they were making, especially Andrew Schultz's co-host, which is, I think that before all of this, the Democratic Party and Democrats as a whole, like, we don't dive into conspiracies. Republicans had this whole, like, rabbit hole thing about Epstein, and they still do, which is completely devoid of fact. That's its own beast and its own rabbit hole. But prior to this, the Democrats, like, we didn't really have any major theories about Epstein. It was like, okay, whatever, you know, really bad guy who did really bad things, hold the people accountable. But as Donald Trump perpetuates a bigger and bigger cover up. It just becomes more suspicious. And it's not even political. It's not Democrat, Republican, Independent. It doesn't matter what party you vote for. Number one, if somebody's on the list and somebody has done something bad in connection to Epstein, hold them accountable. I don't care who they are. But number two, regardless of political affiliation, I think that every American is looking at this situation saying something's not right. Our guts are telling us, they say, listen to your gut. Our guts are telling us that something is just off here. It doesn't make sense. If Donald Trump was so insistent that he did nothing wrong and he was totally innocent, why is he being so cagey and so secretive and so weird about this whole Epstein thing? And specifically with what Schultz said at the end, once he started talking about Obama with treason, then you know that there's something going on there. Then you know that Donald Trump is really doing whatever he can to cover this up. And it's true. I mean, we can just look at Trump's public statements, but also look at his Truth Social page. I mean, look what he's posting about in just the past day, yesterday, in the evening more so. He posted a Fox News clip from Mark Levin saying this is a massive Obama scandal, referencing the whole treason allegations that he's now making against Barack Obama. Then he included more clips of Mark Levin on Fox News. Then he engaged in some dictatorial posts that he does every so often, kind of wanting to rule with the iron fist. Remember, this is in Scotland. I believe it's around 5 or 6 hours ahead. So this was the middle of the night Scotland time. But he said networks aren't allowed to be political pawns for the Democrat Party. It's become so outrageous that, in my opinion, their licenses could and should be revoked. MAGA. So he's essentially threatening liberal-leaning news outlets. Any news outlet that doesn't give him 24/7 favorable coverage, I guess, should have their licenses revoked because they've become pawns for the Democrats. I wonder if he feels the same way about Fox News, who is far more egregious when it comes to partisan pandering than any left-leaning network out there. And by the way, it's not even close. It's like a 1,000,000-to-1 ratio. And he continued with these weird posts saying, wow, Comcast's NBC is down in viewership almost 28% this year. Their programming is terrible. Their management even worse. They are an arm of the Democrat Party and should be held accountable for that. Likewise, fake news ABC MAGA. So you can kind of see he's engaging in a tirade about the media that gives him coverage that, again, is not so favorable. And I imagine that he's doing this because he's so upset that these news outlets are talking about Epstein, the topic that he is running away from the most compared to anything else happening in the United States or the world right now. And there's one more post that he put out, which is clearly just another distraction to get people to stop talking about Epstein. It's the cover-up. In this post, he calls for Oprah Winfrey, Kamala Harris, and more to be arrested. He's saying, I'm looking at the large amount of money owed by the Democrats and the fact they admit to paying, probably illegally, $11 million to Beyonce for an endorsement, $3 million to Oprah, and also $600,000 to very low-rated TV anchor Al Sharpton and others to be named for doing absolutely nothing. These ridiculous fees were incorrectly stated in the books and the records. You are not allowed to pay for an endorsement. It's totally illegal. All hell would break out if politicians were paying people to endorse them. Kamala and all of those that received endorsement money broke the law and they should be prosecuted. So calling for all these people to be jailed. And he's just going on this rampage recently of Obama needs to be jailed. Biden, Harris, Clinton, all these different people, according to Donald Trump, need to be jailed. And we know what it is. It's a distraction. He doesn't want you talking about Epstein. He wants the conversation to die. So he'll put out outrageous posts like this and talk about a fake kind of Obama scandal just to divert attention away. So I actually agree with a lot of what Andrew Schultz and his co-host said there. They're spot on. And this MAGA bro revolt that's happening right now before our very eyes really is devastating for Donald Trump because they really helped propel him to victory. So anyway, I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Drop a like on the video, comment. Let me know, as I mentioned, what you think about this video, what you think about this story. Let me know what you think about Donald Trump's cover-up. But as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.